Blessings, blessings, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Alive. Are you alive? Yes, of course. My name is Reverend Denise Schubert. This is Sunday Night Alive. We come together every week to explore our spiritual identity. We come together to think a new thoughts. We come together to feel a new feeling. We come together once a week to remember who we really are. So my name is Denise, and I am your host for this evening. Our topic is our topic is the evolution of you embracing change. If you're here with me tonight, say hello. Say hello to me. Hello, hello. Hi, Brian and Jim. So good to always see you. Um, whew, I actually did church this morning, so it's been a long day. So I get to complete my experience of connection today with you tonight. So let me speak a word of blessing upon us. Hmm, my topic, my topic may morph a little bit because today's topic at church was so good. It's still kind of living in me, so we may kind of dip our toes into it again. But as always, I get ever more clear that what we're doing here is we are attempting to remember our spiritual identity more often than not remember. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're striving to do, is to step out of being purely human and all that that means, purely at effect, purely being pushed around, purely by um, uh, this teacher was talking to a room full of students. He called it youth and truth. It's a very cool idea, talking to young adults. And they were asking questions about sexuality. And he said that we cannot escape our biology, right? That we have biology. But the point is, the question is not to let our biology lead our life. And it's kind of like the same thing. We don't want to let our humanity and the limitations of that lead us in life. We want to actually come from, identify with, and express from our awareness of who we are as spiritual beings. Because to do so is to live in life way more free, uh, way more grounded, way more powerful than it is. So to talk about change is a very good topic, because change is the name of the game in a good way. So you have the spiritual perspective on change and you have the human perspective on change. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before we do that, hello everyone who's joined me: David, Toby, Jan. Some names I can see. I know some of you are here and you don't say hello, but that's okay. You don't have to. Um, you can be shy. So let's take a breath for a moment and come together in consciousness, which kind of in my world means let's get on the same page in from a spiritual perspective, so that we can garner great good, so that we can allow the divine presence to have its way with us. And so join me as I turn within, which simply for me means, and the invitation to you is to simply allow the circumstances and conditions of your life, whatever's coming after this on your Sunday night, getting ready for your work week, any troubles or conflicts or problems you have, let those slip away from you. And simply in this moment, just turn within and to feel life pulsating through you, to feel from the inside out the vibrational truth of your being, the heartbeat that you're not beating, the breath you're not taking, the blood that's coursing through your veins that you're not causing to do that. All of that is being done, that we are being breathed, our hearts are being beaten. And so it is from that place that I recognize and know that there is intelligence surrounding me, that there is wisdom surrounding me, there's order and harmony surrounding me. And as I know that that's true for me, I also know that that's true for you. And so that the truth of our spiritual identity transcends the human struggle. So I bless our time together tonight, inviting any struggle to be brought to this altar as we simply explore becoming proactive and powerful in the face of necessary and evolutionary change. And so we just let this time be perfect together, and so it is. Amen. 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 So, so I like this. I like this idea. I like this topic conversation very much. But if if you've been with me for a while, you do know that nothing I say ever really changes. It's really kind of all the same theme, all the same conversation, right? We are spiritual beings. The Gnostics would say we're trapped in this body. The Gnostics, the religion of Gnosticism, they say life in the body is unbearable and they can't wait to get out, right? We don't really have that stance. I would say that life in the body can be and should be absolutely amazing. Uh, it is amazing. I'm going back to South Africa in November, and was sharing with someone who I want to go with me or come while I'm there. Not in November, but anyway, I was sharing with them. They were asking me a little bit about Africa and why. I mean, obviously, anyone can see why. I mean, not why, but that I must obviously get something of great value from being there because I've gone so much. And, my first time was 2014 and it's 2024 and I'm getting ready to go for my 15th visit. 15. So that's at least once a year, twice most years I've gone to not just South Africa, but Kenya, Nairobi, Tanzania. But what's there for me is life. What's there for me is the presence of peace in a way that is palpable. And I don't know, everyone has their own Africa. Everyone has their own place where they can feel the resonance of their soul with this physical environment because it is stunningly beautiful. And we get so caught up in life that we don't really remember that or we don't really see it. I do it too. I have tried many, many times to recreate the feeling I get when I'm sitting gazing at a herd of elephant feeding. The perfection of that feeling, the wholeness of that feeling, the all rightness of life, the order and the harmony that is the very existence of the divine present or the infinite presence. So, so this question is about you and I, how we evolve and how we change. How do we step into this identity? Because most of us, unless you were born and raised by a deeply spiritual family, and I'm not really talking religion, though religion can and does, all religions can and do bring that transcendent experience. There is mysticism in every religion, Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, all religions have a mystical aspect to them if you can get underneath the dogma and underneath the religious control that most organized religions aim to do organizationally. You're going to find the same availability of peace, the same availability of transcendence. So it's not religion, it's not that religion is bad in any way. We need to recognize religion for what it is, which is an organized way that people have come together in order to define the universe we live in order to explain the wisdom and the intelligence, in order to know this unknowable thing that we put this word God on. But it's created a lot of confusion, right? There's a lot of us are getting over God, getting over life really, and stepping into our connection, like what is that connection you feel with a tree. That's really really more what we're trying to live our life from, is that uh, deep I'm comfortable in my own skin. So uh, when I was thinking about this topic about evolution, about the evolution of you, uh, one of the ways one of the ways we can think about who we are and what's really going on here is if you think about a chick in an egg, uh, in the same way you could think about an infant in the womb, um, they must get out, right? There comes a moment when the chick must break out of the egg because it outgrows its environment. It's no longer The environment's no longer suitable to hold the becoming of the bird, right? Or the dinosaur, or wherever, whatever comes out of eggs, chickens, chickens and birds. So the evolution of that life requires, stage one was it's in this egg, and stage two is it's outside the egg. Same, we talked last week about caterpillars and butterflies and goo. Stage one for the caterpillar is caterpillar. Stage two for that entity, that life is butterfly. Same with you and I. The first stage of our beingness is inside our mother's womb, which eventually becomes too small. It eventually becomes, it's no longer serves us to stay there, nor can we stay there. Actually, that's even more important, probably. We cannot stay there. If you stay there, you will die. If you stay there, you will perish. So come out of the womb, we must. And for us as human beings, that's the end that almost we get fixed. We get fixed by our humanness. We become, we shift from being verbs, becoming the caterpillar, becoming the butterfly, the embryo becoming the chicken, right? You becoming a person. We get solidified into a noun. We get solidified into all of the things that were said to us and that we have said to ourselves for all of our lives. I'm smart, I'm dumb, I'm pretty, I'm homely, I'm creative, I'm not creative, I can dance, I can't dance. Uh, so depending, I feel a little frozen here. Uh, oh, I'm not sure if you can still see me. It may just be on my end, so I'm going to keep talking for a moment. Um, uh, so as we move through our early life into our middle life, our end of life, for many of us, nothing ever really changes. Nothing changes. Do you understand what I'm saying? That we become nouns, and then anything that would change life, we resist. So the question really uh, is are you doing life, or is life doing you? Right? Are you awake in the moment, making choices, uh, seeing life the way you want to see it, causing things to happen that you want to happen, um, behaving in ways that are consistent with your spiritual nature? Because remember, if there's two ways of identification, maybe more, I'm not sure about the more, is are you nothing more than a human being, or can you relate to yourself as a birthless, deathless, eternal being? So you emerged from your mother's womb as a part of the evolution of you. And the evolution of you is as natural as the chick coming out of the egg or the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. And in a spiritual world, in an awakened world, an enlightened world, we then would have been ushered into further evolution. But that's okay. I think part of what comes with our human incarnation, which is a good thing, is learning how to reconnect with our wisdom, internal wisdom, with our internal guidance system. Uh, and how we do that is by navigating change. But then that also then has the question, are you being pushed by pain, or are you being pushed by pain? Now, the answer in most cases, especially in our early awakening, is you will be pushed because the space you occupy will become too small. It's no different than as you grow up, you have to keep buying shoes, right? Because your feet are changing. So when something changes, we must expand out of that space into a larger space. But this isn't, of course, about shoes or clothes, but it is very interesting that as children, as children, we are evolving every year, are we not? Those of you, I mean, we're children, so we can relate to that. But if you have children, you can see it happening. Even my relationship with Willow Harper in South Africa, I met her when she was 3 months, left her that time when she was 5 months. And between those 3 and 5 months, her whole being changed. Her whole sense of awareness, her whole relationship to her mother and to her surroundings shifted. She became aware, she could smile, she became make eye contact, right? So uh, for infants, there is no choice. Evolution is natural. They are just changing every day. I believe that that's true up until some time for most of us, where we cast ourselves in concrete, and then we resist change, right? Then we don't want change. We want everything to stay the same. We want to be comfortable. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to go through the discomfort of what it feels like to break out of your egg. But um, if we don't, in the Bible it says, without vision, the people shall perish. And that simply means that without forward thinking, without possibility thinking, without an awareness that we are always, always, never not, always in a growth cycle of becoming more of who we really are, an upward spiral of becoming more loving, more joyous, more prosperous, more abundant, more peaceful, then if we're not in the awareness of the more of that, then we're going to be in the awareness of not that, which is intolerable for the spirit. So are we being pushed by change, or are you changing in order to invite new possibilities? I was sharing today, my topic at church today was the unconditional nature of commitment, really. That's really what I ended up talking about. And I remember sharing that when I was 36, it was 1983, so 30, oh, maybe not even 32. I got invited by a group of people I cared about. Didn't care about them so much. I cared about what they thought about me. Like I wanted to be in with this group of people. They were, um, I was invited to run a marathon for World Hunger, for the Hunger Project. And I said yes. And now at 32 years old, I was smoking. And I had been smoking for, I don't know, 18, 16, 18 years. I was also about 20 pounds heavier than I am now. And I had never run a day in my life. So it was a little bit science fiction, like, really. But I was full of commitment. I was full of wanting to do this thing. And I don't know why. Well, it wasn't really there at first. It was not, uh, it was not an unconditional commitment. It was not like I'm going to do this no matter what in the beginning. It was more like, oh, I can do this. Of course I want to do this. And I wanted to be with this group of people. Um, but so I say that because in the saying yes to running a marathon, I opened myself up to facilitating change that I could not have predicted. So I was making, I'm going to put that slide up again because I realize it's important, that I was inviting new possibilities through my causation of change. It's like when the caterpillar is invited to create a cocoon, it doesn't know anything about what will be after that process. The process is necessary to define the new order of being. So, one of the ways that you can and should, because it's kind of how we're wired, is to invite new possibilities through committing yourself unconditionally to change. So, for most humans, for most of us, we'll complain about our extra 20 pounds from the moment we have our extra 20 pounds until the day we die, right? That's, listen, I know you, I know me, I know people. Every New Year's, oh, I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna lose my weight. I'm gonna start exercising. I'm gonna take care of myself this year. This is gonna be my year of taking care of me, right? And doing the right things. And then somewhere along the line, that begins to fall away. And it falls away because it's hard. It's hard to change. If change were easy, we would do it. We would do it. We would already have done most of the changing we need to change to become a more palatable species. But even with the marathon, I mean, the only way you're going to run 26.2 miles, well, I could ask you, what's the only way you're going to run 26.2 miles? Is by training, is by running, is by using your body to run so that your muscles get strong, so that you can increase your lung capacity, so that you can increase your endurance. Without running, there's no marathon. So when you commit to something like that, you know, and they would set up systems where you'd have a buddy, you'd run with another person, something to keep you in the commitment. Now, I remember I shared this morning that right before I, about 6 weeks before the date of the marathon, I twisted my ankle. And I remember having this conversation with myself. Denise, no one will blame you if you don't run this marathon. So you can back out now, and it would be totally acceptable and reasonable because you have an injury. And you would just say, oh my God, I just feel so terrible. I'm unable to keep my word about running the marathon because I injured my ankle. And everyone would have understood. But I would not have understood because I knew that was baloney. I knew that I could stay the course, I had plenty of time to ice my ankle and wrap my ankle and take it easy on my ankle and still train. So I decided, no, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this. Now remember, this is cocoon time. This is not, I know what will come for me after I run. There's no after effect here. You don't know what that is. You just know that you're doing it. So I did. That's what I found, a high school racetrack, because they use real soft dirt. So you got myself off the concrete and I could go slow or fast. So the long story of that is I did run 26.2 miles. It's unbelievable that human beings actually want to do that. I've never done it since. But that commitment to that changed me. I found my, I'm going to type it up here because I found my no, I found this I want you to find yours. I found mine no matter what. So your no matter what is something you would add to the end of something you really care about or are passionate about or interested in that might be hard, that might take commitment, that might take tenacity, that might be difficult, but up front you say, I can count on me and you can count on me to do this thing. More importantly is I can count on me, because I think part of the problem is that when we are moving through life as only human doings, that we underestimate our our potential. We underestimate um, what I would call holy help. We underestimate the willingness of the universe to undergird us and support us in our commitments. You know, the universe loves commitment. The universe loves when we say, I'm going to be abundant. I'm I'm going to have this much money by this date. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know which avenue I'm going to walk down to do it, but I am going to do it. When you say that to the universe says what? The universe says, yes, you are. And you cannot imagine the things that will conspire in order to manifest or demonstrate the things that you are most deeply committed to. And when you're wishy-washy, the universe is equally as wishy-washy. When you change your mind, so here's what happens. The universe, I was reading today I'm not changing subjects. I was reading today this little book, this beautiful little book called This Thing Called You. They were talking about, we often do talks around Jesus's saying, "It is done unto you as you believe." And Ernest Holmes called this the law of faith, that Jesus is teaching us about the law of faith. And the law of faith simply just says that if you believe that you can have only a little, then you can have only a little. If you believe that you can have a lot, then you can have a lot. So it's kind of in that realm where I'm talking right now. So no matter whether you're doing life or life is doing you, whether you're being blown around by the wind or you're actually blowing the ship in the direction you want it to go, or whether you're inviting change through commitment. I'm not sure I've covered that well enough yet, but hopefully you can catch what I'm talking about, that you're declaring a new reality for yourself is inviting yourself into a process of pecking your way out of a too tight enclosure into a larger enclosure. It is a way for you to change. Running a marathon changed me, everything about me. It changed what I knew I was capable of doing. It changed what I believed was possible for me. It changed how I felt about my body. It changed my level of self-esteem, that who I was and what was possible for me after running the marathon was different than what I thought and what was possible for me then before the marathon. So I'm hoping you're catching that. So when Michael Beckwith says you're either pushed by pain or pulled by vision, I actually think that in reality, when you look at a whole life, we are pushed by pain. The chick coming out of the egg does not have a vision about becoming a chicken. There's nothing inside the embryo, I guess that's what they call it, or you, the embryo in your mama's belly, nothing in there going, oh, I have a vision of myself being this most beautiful chicken. I think it's time to get out of the egg now. No, pure pain. So purely the egg is too small and it must escape the egg. That's how pain works for us too. It's like you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of that job, of that person, of who you are, of what you're doing, of your whatever your behaviors are or your actions are in life that you're judging, that you're no longer comfortable with. That those are pain pushing, those are pushing experiences that says there must be a better way or another way. And sometimes you're just face down in the mud and somebody helps you, some angel shows up, right? I remember that we did a talk where the divine presence, the holy help comes to you, not with, doesn't have a sign on its forehead that said, hello, I'm your guardian angel, I'm here to help you. It shows up like a regular person who's there to help you. I've had so many of those kinds of people in my life. Um, or where you actually then, from an awakened state of being, can say, I, I am going to initiate the next level of evolution in myself by taking this class, by opening myself to a relationship, to going, I'm going to find a church or a spiritual community. I'm going to lose my weight. I'm going to quit drinking. Whatever it is, the more of you is urging you to do from the inside. Because remember, the divine influence is an inner influence, not an external influence. You're never going to hear a voice say to you, Denise, this is God. If you will quit eating ice cream, you will be an amazing human being. It's not how it works. It's more of a, you're lounging around at the end of the evening and you have this idea that you're stagnating, that you need to do something, that you need to go somewhere, that you need to become, you need to open to a greater idea of who you are and what's possible for you. And I actually think that in the later years in life, it's even harder to do because uh, we tend to kind of close and think that the world shrinks. But the very good news is that in your faith, trust and belief that we live in a spiritual universe and that you have a spiritual identity. If you know that at the level of knowing, I know that not because people can prove it, not because it's truth, but because it's encoded in your spiritual DNA, that when you know that, then you know that your evolution is never over. That death, the leaving of the body, is like the pecking out of the chick's egg. The leaving of the body is like the birth of you. So aging, old age, what we would call old age, or the end of life experience is not about the end of life at all. It's about the beginning of the next phase of life. And I love that so much. And for me, it's if it is done unto me as I believe, and I believe that, then I'm pretty sure that that is exactly what my experience will be. That death will be peaceful, and will be well prepared for whatever that evolution of me is. But most of us, if you're here with me on this call, not everyone is old. Not even what 73 years old. I'm on my last quarter. Last quarter, yeah. I'm in my last quarter, and some of you are, but some of you are on your second quarter. So this whole idea of taking the reins of evolution for yourself, of recognizing the pain for what it is. That's not really pain, pushed by pain. It's not really pain at all. It's literally the evolution of you. The evolution of you is that you need a bigger space to operate in. You need more, you need a job with more responsibility. You need a job with higher compensation. You need a relationship with greater levels of love and respect. You need a community of like-minded people. You need a tribe. You need to take care of you need to take care of the health of your body, right? This is a vehicle that you are occupying. And if you want it to feel comfortable and to get you where you need to go, you need to eat the food. You need to be nourished. You need to drink water. You need to get some sleep. So so the message tonight really is that you are an evolving being. You are a verb. You are always becoming something. No matter what happens, I promise you, whether you're pushed by pain or creating possibility for yourself, something is always happening right now. You are always in a spot, always. There's never a moment when this isn't true, from getting from where you were yesterday to where you will be tomorrow. You are in a process. Life is a process. And what is happening? What is happening in that process? Wake up, look at it, say, what is happening? Because you can, rather than just go with the flow or be blown by the wind, you can take charge of that process. You can begin to have vision. You can begin to articulate a future you. You can begin to sculpt your life in exactly the way that you want it. Now, can it happen overnight? Maybe. Probably not. Probably it's a process of time. But how you do that is to say, oh, I think I'll run a marathon in 6 months, and let the marathon running change you. I'm going to go back to college and get my degree. Let the going to college and getting your degree change you, right? I've issued an invitation to a couple of people because I think my trip to South Africa next year may be my final trip. And saying, well, if it's on your bucket list and anybody has any idea they want to go to South Africa, come while I'm there. How great would that be? So there will be a couple people say, oh, I think I feel that I want to do that. And then going to South Africa will change you. So that is the message for today. So you are a verb. You are always evolving. Whether it's pain that causes you to break out of your shell, or whether it's a vision that causes you to break out of your shell, is irrelevant. The divine infinite presence doesn't matter how you change and grow. It just matters that you do. It matters that you do, not from on high, but from within your soul. You will be a much happier, fulfilled, satisfied human being if you take control of your own evolution. Yeah. Okay. So that's our Sunday Night Alive for tonight. My sister is here celebrating my 73rd birthday. So when I sign off with you, I'm going to go continue celebrating with her a little bit more. If you want to be on my mailing list, you can go to deniseschubert.com. If you want to contribute to this ministry, you through your love offering, gifts, or tithes, you can do that through Zelle or Venmo or PayPal through to revdschubert@gmail.com. If you want any support or prayer, you can contact me, same email, revdschubert@gmail.com, anytime. I'd be happy to pray with you. All right, so I'm going to bless us and anchor this in consciousness. Now, we do a very special kind of prayer in New Thought theologies and the New Thought faith and way of life, which is called affirmative prayer, or what Ernest Holmes called scientific prayer. And it really is not, never are we asking God for things. It's a, dear God, will you free my people? Or dear God, will you help me win the lottery? Is okay. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that kind of prayer. We call it begging and beseeching prayers. But it's important to understand, very vitally important to understand, that the thing you're praying to is within you. The thing that governs circumstances, conditions, people, places, and things, the evolution of you or the evolution of life, is coming from within you. So when we do affirmative prayer, we're actually attempting to remove any doubt, any faithlessness, any I don't believe this, because whatever it is you believe is going to happen. So, but the thing is, nobody consciously believes in lack. Nobody consciously believes in pain and suffering. Nobody consciously believes that they're not worthy of a good relationship. So it's all subconscious, unconscious. So we're attempting to undo what life has done through our knowing the truth. So that is when I say I'm going to pray, that's what I'm doing. So I'm not praying to God, I'm praying from God, to the God in you. Yes? All right. So let's do that now. Let's just take a moment and another breath. Talking is wonderful. I love talking, of course, and listening is wonderful. Some of you love listening, but neither one of those things actually ultimately change you. What changes you is running the marathon. What changes you is the work you do. And so let's just take a moment and go to the place where the work gets done, which is internal. And so maybe in this moment, when I invite you to turn within, to turn away from the past, turn away from the yesterday, turn away from the nounness of you, the I'm my mother's daughter, I'm an employee, I'm this much, I have this much money, I'm this level of health. We want to, as Ernest Holmes would say, turn away from the conditions and turn towards the possibility, turn towards the vision, turn towards the source of creation. How do visible things become visible? Where does what is visible come from? And it comes from within you. And so as we turn together, turn within together tonight, I end this evening with knowing the truth that sets us free, which is that we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in these bodies, which are temporary. We are not temporary, we are eternal. And so it is from that place that I know that every day and every way must be an evolutionary and growth process, that we are always becoming more, never becoming less. We are always expanding, never decreasing. And if we are decreasing, we will suffer. So that is the knocking at the door saying, get out of the shell. Whatever it takes, peck your way out. Is it easy for the chick? No. Is it worthwhile for the chick? Yes, because on the other side of the shell is the glory of the bird. And so I'm just so grateful to invite each and every one of us into this amazing process of self-awareness, of self-awakening, of self-direction, of literally allowing ourselves to step into the process of evolution, the evolutionary process that we are. And so for tonight and all of its blessings that we've given, all the ones we've received, all the insights and revelations, which might have happened during this time, but will also continue if you invite them in, we give thanks. We're grateful. And until the next time we meet, we just allow this to be so. And so it is. Amen. 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 Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. Your presence and your willingness to come out and play with me keeps me on my toes. And I thank you for that. It is my my elixir of youth is you. All right. So peace and blessings. And I will see you next week or sometime in between. Have a wonderful Sunday night. Until then.